Hey everybody, what's going on? This saw, some of you might remember, some of you, if you've seen the videos. This one kind of got set aside. It's actually done a video on this saw, but it was like a year ago. And it got set aside and forgot about because I work a full-time job and a part-time job. And this past weekend, my dad has a small apple tree he was wanting to cut down, so we grabbed a couple saws, headed over there to cut the tree down, and went to fire this one up, and it wouldn't start. And so I got my phone out, got on the YouTube channel, and looked it up. Come to find out, this is one of them that actually got set aside that we never finished, and so it's time to get it finished. So the issue was. From the video, I believe it was we thought it was a carburetor issue because we got it and it's set for a long time, and the guy told us when we bought it, from what I can remember, that it did set for a long time. Really super nice guy. He seemed to be as honest as he could with us, but he said it set for a long time without being started, and hadn't tried to start it. Just we just bought it. Found it on Marketplace, went and picked it up, brought it home. I think it was this one. We threw, we put new fuel lines on it, and I think it was fuel lines, fuel filter, threw a plug in it, and went at it. And gets fire and everything, but we couldn't get it to run right. And I'd have to rewatch the video. Honestly, I can't remember if we got it to start. And so I got online and found a pretty nice kit for this. Remember, this is it's a Craftsman. It's a 42cc 18-inch bar from 2005, and got online, found a pretty nice kit. This kit was only $16. I've used the products from these guys before, Parts In. And I've always been lucky with them before. I always got good deals from them. This kit, I was really surprised. $16. And I'll show you everything we got here. And this is them there. I'm not sponsored by these guys by any means. I've been lucky with them so far. I usually go with HIPAA products. But a lot of the stuff that we've been working on, HIPAA has, they, for whatever reason, couldn't supply the part, and then came across these guys, and I've been having good luck with them at a fair price. So you got to figure this was $16. So the fuel lines we don't have to worry about replacing, but they sent the fuel lines, fuel filter, new primer, the adjustment tool for the carburetor gaskets, air filter, spark plug. Here's our carb. And in the package. And they gave us 2 new caps as well. One for the fuel, one for your chain bar oil. All that for $16. That includes shipping. So that was a really good deal as far as I'm concerned, and because it's going to cost. I mean, if you go getting this stuff separately, you're going to be spending way more than $16. I mean, you're just a gasket kit for one of these carburetors. You're probably looking at cheapest I've came across one is close to $10 just for a rebuild kit for one of these. It's like $6-7, and so $16 for all this, yeah. Not a bad deal as far as I'm concerned. So this one, I believe we did take the muffler that's on. This is actually the muffler that used to be on it. And these have, see if I got one up here. I'm pretty sure I do. The tubes that go in there. Yeah, right here. Here's one. When these are bolted on to the cylinder, you got those tubes These long tubes right here, those set in place. Then the screws that hold the muffler on to the jug, you know, they go in, hold it tight. So what we did was pop those out. They're usually in there kind of stiff. You can just take a flathead screwdriver, get it up underneath that lip and just wiggle it, and they usually just pop right out. And we popped them out so it could, there you go, you can get some light through there now. So it would breathe a little better, and which helps. And so that's, you know, we've done that to that muffler. The muffler that's on it now is just practically new. And so we done it the same way. But it still has the spark screen is what I call them. It's one of these. Help reduce forest fires. But so the screen's still in it and all that hoopla. So the muffler's ready to go. All right, let me get this kit out of the way here. $16. Yeah, you can't beat that. I personally don't think so. Only thing I'm hoping for is this works. But the bad part about it is where we've worked so much is the this isn't the only one that I've neglected on getting running, because they'll get set aside. You know, something will come up. Sorry, something will come up, and you know, something will get set aside, and it might set for a week before I can mess with it. And this was just happened to be one of those cases, and you know, so I got this one, and I think, honestly, I think there's two more that same thing happened to. Now, I'll show you the difference when I get this carburetor off. There is a difference between all these ones are sets this away. There is a difference in the arm right here, how this has the metal arm. I think I covered it in a video a long time ago, because one of them we actually had to modify the top cover here on the inside, and because the arms are a little different, but these are, I went through a couple different companies, you know, looking at their ads, and they're all the same way. The only way to use the OEM is to buy a full rebuild kit specifically for that carburetor, and we didn't go that route. We just got everything, because it was just such a good deal on this kit that it's hard to pass up. So you got these two screws here, or these two nuts. These are 5/16. Get our little tray down here and get them out of the way. So those are 5/16. Cover should come off. Oh no, sorry, there's a star bit right there. That I think was a, yeah, I think it's a T25. Yeah, T25. I did have someone ask me recently on one of my other saws about the bolts that hold that muffler on. And some of them I came across are T25, and I had a couple of them that were T30s. The T25 would fit, but it was like kind of loose and sloppy. Just in case you're wanting to do something with the muffler and you're wanting to remove it. I got mine off with a T25, but technically it is, the T30 did fit nice and snug like it should. So just tossing that out there in case anybody wonders why, if it fits a little sloppy. So I'll whip that loose. There we go. And this rubber piece is looking a little dry and cracked out, so that may end up having to look. I got a couple part saws that we may have to steal it off of. There we go. Okay, there's our rod. You just wiggle the throttle. Let's get it to come forward some, and it'll pop right out. Go back in the same way. Choke lever, you can just turn it to the side. Slide her out. Get your choke lever out of the way. Easy. Nothing to worry about. So there is a lever that I'm talking about. Is right here, this black arm. It's plastic. This one actually has a crack in it. So that's why I'm not too worried about it. And you can see here how it comes up when you crack the throttle. It comes up, pushes it up, and opens the upper flap right there. Now your new style, you can see how the difference is. Instead of having that plastic arm, how it comes back. This one, it works the same way. It comes back, but the metal rod on our other saw that we used one of these on, the plastic cover actually had to be trimmed to make room for this, and which really didn't make it wasn't really a big issue. We just had to do it because the plastic cover wouldn't set down fully on the saw. So I always tell everybody, we already replaced these lines so we don't have to replace them, but if you're digging into it and before you replace them, you may want to take a picture, get your phone or whatever, take a picture of your line, the routing of your lines. So just in case you can't remember or that, or just get online. I'm sure there's a ton of articles online or images online. Get on Google or one of them and it'll pop up and show you the routing diagram for the fuel lines. So hopefully I can get these off. I know we did replace them. Kind of stiff, but where's it at? Hopefully we can get them to pop right off. Now this thing shouldn't have but maybe a little bit of fuel in it. Hopefully it's not enough to shoot up out of the line. There we go. So there's that one. Now your adjustments here are, I believe they're the 24. What does that say on it? Well, it just says spline, but I believe it's a 24 spline tool, adjustment tool. So here's our old one. Make sure you keep your rubber. Good. I don't know if the camera will pick this one up. It's starting to get. You can kind of see it. It's starting to get old and dry. Not brittle. It's still flex. There you go. You can kind of see it there. It's starting to get the cracks in it. So it'd be a good time if you're wanting to replace it. This would be the perfect opportunity to do so. But the inside still looks good and smooth, so I'm not pressed. You can kind of see, if I could get it to focus, you can kind of see where it's just on the surface of this one. So I'm not too pressed about it. It just sits on just like that. Here's our first gasket. Get that off there. And hopefully these gaskets are the same. If not, we'll have to reuse the old one. Yeah, it just has the one single. Same way, so the carbs are identical. There we go. So this one, yeah, it only has, I guess in here it only has the one hole. Where this is the OEM one, hole top and bottom on the plastic case down here on the saw. It does have a hole top and bottom, but the new gasket only has one. So we're going to try our luck with the original gasket. It's not split or anything, so we'll try our luck with it. If it acts like it's got a leak, then I'll have to order one for it. But we'll go ahead and give her a shot. Worst it's going to do is not work, right? So we'll get that on there. Just got to have faith it'll work. Here's our new one. Get our lines hooked up real quick like. Jumping ahead of myself. There we go. So it takes care of that. Make sure you put your top down into that rubber grommet. Everything fits good and solid. Now you get your rod. Only this one only has the one hole, so it'll fit right in. It'll loop, come around right here, and there we go. Move your throttle assembly on your carburetor. Push in on it a little bit. That way, when the trigger comes up, you can line it up. Can't see the hole. Trying to stay out of the way of the camera. It's not as hard as this looks. This is just me trying to stay out of your way so that you can see. There we go. There you be. It's that simple. You kind of push in on it, put your thumb on it, make sure everything's working. Of course, you can see everything's working. So it takes care of that part. So let's get our choke back on. Just give it a little wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Just be careful you do not snap that end off. That might actually be easier to do before you hook your linkage up. Yeah, I would say so. So let's try that. Back our card back out a little bit. Wish it was this tight. There it goes. There we go. Alright, let's do it again. Get the grommet on. Hopefully. There we go. So then back to get this linkage hooked back up. There we go. Just like that. Make sure the choke functions. It's good. Perfect. So now, oh, excuse me, let's see. Yep. There we go. Got the two nuts. Now some of these, this one I think is one of them. These two studs, they slide. They can slide back and forth inside there, inside that plastic. So you kind of pull out on it a little bit there. Hopefully, we can get her to start pretty easy. Had one, man, that sucker was a bear. They actually, you probably don't even have to pull out on them, but it's just like a half a thread to a whole thread sticking out. So we'll see. I'll try it on this one, see if it'll start. Sometimes it's easier just give them a little, just to pull just a little bit. Let's see if that'll do it. Yep, just enough, I think. Yeah. Takes care of that. So that's it for the carburetor. Here's our new plug. It's supposed to be pre-gapped. And you have to watch because these actually take, where's that old plug at? There's one of them. You gotta watch your length. I'll show you real quick. Length on this side, but the height of the plug when it sets. These plugs are actually short. I don't think I have one of the other ones in here. Is this one? No, it's the same size. I don't have one out here, but you have to watch because they'll be the same on this end when it goes in, so it'll be the right depth right here to keep from hitting the piston. Where the porcelain's at, and the top for the spark plug wire would be like that much longer. And when you go to put your plastic on, the plastic won't set all the way down. And in some situations, that's exactly why. And I've had it happen plenty of times. You put it on, you're like, well, what the heck's going on? Well, that's exactly why. Now the plastic, let's see if it fits. This one's always been kind of tough to go on, so let's see what we get here. Oh, this one we actually did. I'll show you. I gotta put it on anyway. There's a new air filter. Excuse me. Getting that throat bug. For better airflow, I forgot about that on this one. We did take and the filter acts like it's just a hair too big, but it's fitting. You gotta finesse it, I guess. The cover that goes on it sits like that. But you can see where this is the only inlet for air right here. So this one we took and we just drilled some holes in the cover. Just get a little bit more air into it. But I think this is the other one that doesn't really like snapping on too well. Actually, I think I might have another one sitting here. Maybe not. Thought I did. Anyway, but we done the cover the same way. Just knocked 4 holes in it right there. Because on these, get it on here and I'll show you, there's not a lot of spots for air to come into them. I'm a big fella. So when it sits down, it'll sit down nice and tight. You won't have this gap and all that going around it. But there's like not a lot of airflow to these old home saws like this. And so that helps. You put a couple extra holes in the filter, pop a couple in the case. So, it gives you a little bit of extra air. But, dropping, there we go. So that, I believe, is a T25. Let's see. Yep. And we got the 3 screws for the top. And that's it. We're good. I just want to make sure you just work. Now this one I'll have to show you. This is the one right here. That's what the throttle is not going to move all the way. The choke and everything will work fine, just like it should. Nope. Yep. So we got our on and stop works fine. The choke won't work and the throttle won't work. And the reason for that is that rod I showed you. Right here in the case, that rod's coming up, and you got that rubber hump where it sits at. The plastic cover has that lip, and that rod's hitting it. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. That's the only downfall on these carburetors. Now, I was told this one I can't do it because the plastic pieces cracked on the old carb, and it'd be a waste of time. Now, if you had your old carb on the arm right here, from what I was told, I haven't tried it because it's like this one. This one has a fatigue crack in it right here, so I'm not going to waste my time with it. But you can, from what I was told, but I haven't tried this. So you can you got your keeper right here that comes off. Take your screw out right here, get the flap out of it, and you got your spring and your arm, and all that'll slide out, and you can reinstall it on your new carburetor, and it'll be just like OEM. So the problem you got, this one is, you can see the rod, see how it jumps around right there. You got this rubber hump right here that helps seal it. And that's right where this plastic is right here. This plastic lip. So when it sets down, you got this plastic, well I guess it'd be this side, but you got this plastic lip right here. And it won't let that rod move. So if you do not change it and put the OEM style rod back on here, then the only other way is to, one of the other saws that we, actually I think I got rid of that saw, but we actually cut it. I think it was from like about right here to the corner right here, the edge. We came across and down, and that gave the rod all the room it needed to move around. But of course it doesn't seal around your hump right here. And a lot of people that I've talked to were complaining, well, their complaint would be heat from the motor soaking in, coming around the sill, soaking in, getting up around through here, because these old saws, they have a bad rap for not running right because of heat. And which, you know, I get that. You get the heat gets up here around the carburetor, gets everything hot, doesn't let everything work right because everything gets heat soaked. So with that, I mean, there's the only other way around that is to change this, take this off, put it on the new carb, which I might, honestly, I might have one. This one, it's a, I don't know, it's a pretty decent crack. It's all the way across the ear right there, but I'll do some digging around, and because we won't be able to, just kind of like late at night, and so we won't be able to start it tonight anyway. I'll have to wait until I get home from work tomorrow to fire this up. What I'll do is shut the camera off, do some digging around, try to see, because I keep a lot of these old carburetors or parts, and I'll see if I have one that has a OEM style, still has the OEM style on it, and if I do, we'll see what we can do to get it to work. It's real close to being the same. Looks like on this new one, the spring location to hold the spring in place is up here, but on the new style carburetors, the redesign of them, the spring is down at the bottom. So technically I don't know if it'll work or not, but we will try. I'll do some digging around, see if I can find one. If I can find one that's not cracked, then we'll give it a shot. So I shall return. Alright, so unfortunately, we got 3 of these old carburetors. All 3 of them are cracked. Every one of them. So it's all the same. These are cracked on the bottom. One's cracked on the bottom, one's cracked on the end, and the one that was on it was cracked clear across the top. So I went ahead, got the Dremel out, put a cutoff wheel on it, and you can see the difference here. Just take it across and down. So that gave us should be enough to get everything working. Man, these things fit so tight. Get her down on there. There we go, come on. go. Everything down, forward. So now you can see our throttle's fully engaging. Choke works like it should. So now we're good. So that's the difference I was talking about between the OEM style and that style. Having that metal rod going forward, you have to trim that out to get it to work. Or if we get another one, I might just go ahead and do that anyway to see if it works. Never tried it, but I was told it worked. But you never know unless you try it, right? So we'll get these tightened up. Kind of curious if it works. There we go. So with this one, it is, like I said, it's a 42cc Craftsman from 2005. The mile-long model number is, we got, Christmas, so that's a 358.350670. Durability period of 125 hours. So, put the cylinder and everything looked good in it. We checked it out in the first video when we had the muffler and everything off. You take your muffler off, you take it completely off, and you can shine a light down in there, and you can check your piston, your ring, your cylinder walls, see if there's any possible issues. So the only thing left to do with this is get home from work tomorrow, fire it up. So this is the one that we put our own labels on it and everything. The labels, if you watch the first video, the labels were like trash, so we made our own and put on it. But we did have issues in the first one, and I get a chance tonight, I'll rewatch that first video to make sure I didn't miss covering anything. So for this one, that's a new fuel filter, new fuel lines, new carburetor. Now, the kit also came with the new caps, so we'll see if they fit. This is our, should be our oil, small, yep, oil cap. We'll go ahead and, it doesn't need them, but since we're here, we'll go over it just in case somebody needs to. There's the original style. You can see there how it's shaped. Just pops right out. The new ones are just round for some reason, but whatever works as long as it gets down in the hole. Just give them a little bend. They should pop right down in there. Nice and stiff. Has the rubber O-ring on it. See if she fits. Yep. Just like brand new. Try the fuel. It does have a little bit of fuel down in it. There's our fuel cap. O-rings, it probably didn't hurt because the O-rings all flattened out, so good thing it came with it. Same way, just give it a little bend and it should fit right in there. See if she fits. Yeah, it's up tight. It's almost like it's cross-threading. Couldn't imagine it'd be a different thread. And that went. There's a little bit of fuel in there to see if it leaks. Well, it's not leaking. Just have to make sure it's good and tight when we fill it up. But there you go, that covers that. So that takes care of everything that was in the kit, which I'll show you again. So there's, which one was it? So that's our old carb, our old caps. This stuff we already replaced. What we used one gas, or no, yeah, we used one gasket that goes on the back side. So that leaves spare primer, and fuel lines, fuel filter, and extra gasket. But pretty much does it until tomorrow. So tomorrow, get home from work. I got some fresh gas already mixed up, and we'll get it in there. See how it goes. Get the bar put back on it. That bar actually, I think, that bar has a brand new chain on it, so it should cut. See if we got a piece of wood or something out there we can fasten down to the bench and see how well it cuts. Hopefully it fires up, but I will catch you tomorrow after work, and we'll see if we can get this thing to fire up and run. I honestly don't know how long it's been since it's ran. So, because I've had it for a year without it running, and that guy said it was for a couple years easy since he's had it running. So we'll see. All right, we'll catch you tomorrow after work. Here we go. About the moment of truth. Funny thing is, I went back and looked at the video I had on this originally, and we're priming up. This thing seemed to run pretty decent. So I don't know what the deal was with it, but got a new carb on it now. Come on, baby. Working at it. Yeah, see what he's taking, what he's freaking out about. Hang on. Alright, so I took the top off just to make sure that the rod was free. This is where I was talking about here, where your linkage is at and it moves around and hits your cover. But it fired up, but I had to have the choke in the halfway position right here. The head couldn't be fully closed or open. As long as you kept it halfway, it would fire up. So now I'm just curious if, and that filter is a tight fit, if that linkage is still hitting. Because if it's still hitting, then I don't think it is, but we'll check it out. If it's still hitting, it's not snapped in like it should either. If it's still hitting, then we'll have to, you can see right here, they'll have to trim it off more if it is. Oop. So hopefully it's not. I'm glad I brought that drill out with me. Alright, just tighten her back down real quick like. See, 'cause it feels like it's moving all the way like it should. See, she'll fire back up. Hopefully. There we are. But it did run good. It came with the adjuster tool. It was running good in Ireland, so like I didn't even need it. So let's see. See if it'll make a liar out of me. Alright, we'll try halfway again. It's full. It should be close to half. I think it is still hitting. So, but I'll show you. That's an easy fix. All you gotta do is just trim it off just a hair more until it freezes. I can just barely feel it catching. You can see, you guys can see that the throttle right there. It's got like right there that it's stopping. It should come all the way up. So I'll show you real quick. So this is my error. I just didn't trim it enough. And I do not, I don't think, think I have anything out here I can use to trim it up, but I'll show you. This thing runs good. So all it is set that up here. This side right here, it's probably, I probably didn't drop it down far enough towards the top, so it's probably just got to come in maybe just a hair and then down just a little bit, and then it'll clear that linkage. So I just didn't trim it good enough. That's a kind of a nuisance, but you can kind of, now that we're out in the daylight, I might better show you better. You can see right here the rubber dome is where it seals. Right there is your rod. You can see how it moves around on that. And it's not touching the rubber, but it's just long enough to interfere with the top cover. So set that choke halfway and she should fire right back up. Hopefully. It's running good, so I just need to trim that cover up. It should cut good. If I can get it past that old green bar. Cut a piece of that wood. Man, it runs good. So all I gotta do is just go back, trim that cover a little bit. This old saw is ready to rock and roll. But like I was saying, I went back and looked at the original video of this saw, and it pretty much ran good. We've replaced the, we didn't touch the carburetor on. All I done was fuel lines, fuel filter, and we put a better plug in it. Fought with it a little bit, but it fired up and ran good. I think we had to adjust the carb on it a little bit, the high-low, but it ran good. You know, same deal. It cut real nice, but now it's ready to go. So this will definitely make somebody a good chainsaw, because it is definitely time to thin the herd. So I got this one and a few other ones that is time for them to go, but I'll trim this cap up first and, you know, make sure it functions right. But with that, I mean, it's ready to go, man. It's I was saying, it's an 05 42cc Craftsman 358.350670 is the model number. Good saw, but another thing I was saying is, you know, kind of the beginning of the video, $16 for the whole upgrade on it. That's, you know, both caps, came with the fuel lines, primer, the carburetor, air filter, you know, came with all that stuff for $16. That includes shipping, so definitely didn't land the tool. I'm glad it came with the tool, because my one like this that I had, I managed to lose. I thought my dad had it, but nope, out of luck. But thanks for watching, guys. I ain't gonna hold you up rambling, but yeah, this is kind of a part 2, I reckon. And we didn't really necessarily need a part 2, but it's fully ready to go now. And it's like never ending here, ain't it? The muffler, I did take the tubes out, took the front cover off, took the 2 tubes out, put the muffler back on. So it's a little bit louder than it should be, flows better. But thanks for watching, and I'll get that taken care of before it finds a new home. Thanks for watching. Alright, we're going to try it again, because they told me it's going to sit on the shelf and I'll never get around to fixing it. So, here we go. I trimmed it off, pocket knife. Let's see what we get. Halfway, change release. We're getting full. I forgot to show you there. We're getting full deal now. Let's see what happens. I've made that mistake before. There you go. It's fixed. Somebody come by this chainsaw and support your local YouTuber in Columbus, Ohio. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you at the next one.